in the spirit of wine, to keep consistent with the tradition, would it be okay with you if I ran through your vineyards naked? Hi everyone, welcome to the Libernano Resort in the heart of Tuscany. We have Mrs. Quillo, the owner of Libernano and Castelvento, here to discuss this premises and all the wonderful beauties that it has to offer tourists. Hi Mrs. Quillo.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So Libernano has an amazing story. From the beginning, it has been a hamlet that is 1,500 years old. It was abandoned in 1953, and my husband Bob, when he first set foot on this property, this did not exist. So all of the buildings had somewhat walls, but there were trees growing out, and I actually really thought that my husband has lost his mind. And we were allowed to rebuild 5 of the houses that is now housing our guests. There's only suites here, and we are allowed to redo the church. And yeah, it's the beauty of Tuscany. We are situated, as you said, in the heart of Tuscany. We are 30 minutes from Florence and 15 minutes from Siena.
Thank you, Gudrun, for the introduction. I've been to many vineyards all around Italy, and this vineyard, to me, is the Ferrari of vineyards. Everything is 5-star, everything is first class. It's correct that you have roughly 1,000 acres of land
Yes.
between Libernano and Castelvento. That's a lot of land. It's basically its own town.
Yes, it is. Yep.
You have churches on both properties.
Yes, we do.
And the chefs that you have here, very experienced chef, Italian food, Italian
True
cuisine,
Tuscan.
true
True
Tuscan
Yeah.
cuisine.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing the whole facility, and we have lunch that's going to be prepared. So let's go. Let's carry
continue on.
And I noticed the detail is really amazing. To the stones,
Yeah.
to even the family crest that's on
The Libernano crest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're going to take everyone to the winery a little bit later, where I'd love for you to talk specifically about the wines. But briefly, the wines are available to tourists and Americans
Yes.
all around the world,
Yes,
correct?
Yes. Mainly on direct sales. So we have a platform of customers, and we send monthly, VIP packages out, because due to the corona, we were pretty much handicapped to selling it to the public, out in the United States or even here in Europe.
It's a magical place, that's for sure. Can we see some of the guest suites?
Absolutely, come on.
Okay, great.
So all of our suites are named after one of our wines. So here we have the Sauvignon, then we have the going on to Merlot, and here's the reception. And this is Suite Baronale. So for us it's important that the places are spacious and that the customers are comfortable. So everything is antique on our furnitures, and the walls are as old as can be. Sofas, everything is hand painted and done. We have the heavenly beds, so that people, when they come here, they're very comfortable. They actually don't even want to get up in the morning. So, yeah, we had to change our timing with breakfast because they said 7 o'clock and we show up at 9. Baronale has its own balcony. And of course, this is the welcome drink. And we start out with the dream. So my husband has done many Broadway shows. And one of his first show he did was called Dream. It was all the songs of Johnny Mercer. So I made a Meadow Classico called Dream. It's actually the only one that you can find here in Tuscany because it's not made from a Pinot Noir. It's actually made from the Sangiovese grape.
Now, Gudrun, your husband is quite the Renaissance man. Is that correct? In fact, he's been known as the Renaissance man. He's been involved with musicals. He's been involved with bringing Andrea Bocelli to the United States.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about his history and his passions and his vision and your vision to bring Libernano in existence.
You know, I just absolutely love this story because he was the first generation born from Italian immigrants. His father was from Benevento, the mother from Naples, in the Bronx in New York. And he was the second youngest out of 7 children. Grew up so poor that the first pair of shoes he got is when he went to the Navy. Yeah, so that's basically how he started. And music was always his passion. He played 5 instruments and played the bass. He had the band in New York called the Trio. And all of his amazing stories, when you sit with him over a glass of wine, it's just like you cannot imagine all the things he has done in his life. So NIAF, the National Italian-American Foundation, was very big with him and very much involved, who also gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award in business. He's an amazing person to be with and to talk to. Yeah. I'm proud to be his wife.
Thank you, Gudrun, for the traditional Tuscan antipasto. Before we head over to the Libernano Church, what events do you have at Libernano throughout the year?
Oh my God. Well, we have one week is called the Poesy Week, where we put artists in Vineyard. They have the violins or the harp in different stations. So we give them a bottle of wine. And very tranquil, our guests can go and enjoy the vineyards, the winds, and the small music, you know, just coming towards and overwhelm you. Then we have here, as I said before, we play operas here. And we have painting weekends, and we also have yoga retreats.
The church that you have,
Yes.
it is a Catholic church?
Yes. Saint Andre.
Saint Andreas?
Yes.
Oh, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And we saw you ringing the bell earlier.
Yes, yes, yes. So we do a lot of weddings here, a lot of renewal of the vows, and we baptize people, little babies, and yeah, it's a get together here. A lot of people who actually come here rent the facility out, you know, for the whole family, and have an experience, and refine themselves and refine talking to the mother, to the brothers, to the sisters, because most of them, you know, live abroad, and that is basically like the melting point for them to come back here and to regroup with their own families.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, and just if I may say so, here we have Casalvento, the Grand Selection. It's 80% Sangiovese and 20% Merlot. This is actually the house of Casalvento, what it looks like. With the Janus coin that was found on the property, it was 300 BC, and he was the Roman god who looks forward and backwards, where actually the word January came from. Grand Selection is a new appellation of Tuscany, started in 2011, so it's a gambling, I guess. But we are very proud. We got 92 points with Decanter and Best Wine of Tuscany last year. So very proud of it as well.
Great. Well, I look forward to going over to the winery that you have on the other property.
Yeah.
where we can see all the different selections of the wine. So there is a vineyard on this property.
There's also a vineyard
And
in
this-
Casalento.
Yeah, so this is the Libernano vineyard, and we'll see some of that in a little while. And then there's a property, not an adjacent property, but in a short distance away, is the Casalvento property with another vineyard on there, and that's where the winery is, where they cultivate. Right? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
They
Yeah. Where we ferment, where we collect.
they crush the grapes there. They ferment the grapes. You'll see
Yeah.
the barrels of both of the wines, and they create all the different varietals at that property.
So with that said,
Yeah, that's
cheers.
it. Salute.
Salute. Cheers.
We are now in the Libernano Winery located on the Casalvento property a short distance away, and we have the various Libernano and Casalvento wine varietals. Gordon, can you give us a tour of the wines and all the different varietals that you produce?
Yes, of course. So here we have a display of all of the different wines that we make between Libernano and Casalvento. The difference that what we're trying to do is, so all of the wines that are made in Casalvento are Cabernet based, and all of the ones in Libernano are Merlot based. So it's 80% Sangiovese, 20% Merlot, and Casalvento is mainly with Cabernets. We make a white wine, as I said prior, l'Anima. Of course, the Rosé. Then the basis wines are the Chianti Classicos. This is Casalvento with, of course, our logo, the heads of the Llanos. And then Libernano, which is the flag, the bandera of Libernano in versus colors. So the basis of the Chianti Classico is basically that they are aged in the wooden barrels or tanks that we're going to show you later. The reservoirs are then transferred into barriques and they stay another 18 to 36 months on the barrique before we clarify and put them in the bottle. So do you guys want to have a tour of the wine cellar?
Yeah, we would love
to. We are the youngest winery with the highest awards. Every single wine has amazing awards and we are very proud of it. Here we have the tasting area. So this is when we have wine tours, when people come, journalists come, and would like to taste the wines. This is the place where we have them. And we also do cooking schools. So here we have our kitchen, a commercial kitchen, where we do the cooking presentations, and then of course later on you can eat your own creations that you have made.
If guests stay at Libernano, are they able to schedule a cooking class here?
Yes, they can.
And they can do the wine tasting?
They do the wine tasting, the wine tours, they get to know about the history of Chianti, and get to know the different varieties of grapes that we grow. So here in Casalvento, we mainly grow Cabernet, Merlot, and Sangiovese. On Libernano, we have actually Cabernet, which is a cross between Merlot and Cabernet. Then we grow Sangiovese, Cabernet, and as I said before, with the white wine, Sauvignon Blanc, Gewürztraminer, and Chardonnay. So we wanted to know how our wine ages. So what we have done is, since the beginning of our winemaking career, we have kept 150 bottles back per year. And every year we take one or the other out and we taste them to see how they compare and how they age, which is very important for us.
Good idea.
So everything is climate controlled, as you can feel it. It's nice and cool, especially when it's so hot outside. And I had actually asked Anthony to go and choose one of the wines that are in the older ranges, like 2001, 1997, 2004. If there's anything that interests you, so later on we can taste it and see what the comparison is in the aging. Choose whatever you want to. Feel free.
So every shelf is a different year?
Yes.
Going back to 1997?
Yes.
As you can see, this is very different than the traditional winemaking process of crushing the grapes in a wooden barrel, pulling a lever back and forth and having the grapes crushed. This is a lot more high tech. I was sharing how I used to make wine when I was a kid in a little barrel like this and going back and forth. And it seems like now it's so much more high-tech, sophisticated, computerized, where you said that there are pictures and there's a destemming machine, and it's really an incredible process.
But we still make the wines like we did in the old days. So there's some of the wine which is called open barrel fermentation. So especially our high-end wines, they are not fermented in here.
Really?
We put the barrels, we buy them new, we open up the top, and then the grapes, the crushed grapes go inside, and then we have to rack them every 4 hours by hand. The winemaker doesn't like it because he has to be up all night. And we're gonna go and take some out.
Wow. Wow.
And cleanliness, as you can see, the wine cellar is very, very important. Very important. So we have to always make sure that they're clean, because the doors have to be closed as well. It has to be completely clean because the molecules are floating around in this area here. The wine has a long longevity. Is when you take the wine in your mouth and you swirl around like you have a mouthwash in there. And you swirl it. Can you feel the tannins around the teeth? And on the back, how long it goes down the neck?
Wow.
That, my friends, is called a good wine. That's the sleeping area. Okay?
The sleeping area?
The sleeping area.
Shh. Wine. He's sleeping. It's very quiet in here because we have to let the wine sleep. We have to let the wine rest until it comes to life. So after the wine sits in the tanks, you then move the wine into the barrels. How long does the wine stay in the barrels?
It always depends what it is. We always go and taste, ourselves through, and then we make the decision usually in March or April what we're going to do with it. So this is 36 months.
Good.
Yeah, that's the youngest. It's 36 months right now. So we not only age in the barrels. The second aging process is in the bottles. And that's where the second thing is. This is going to be restored.
Well, pardon my ignorance, but champagne is French, I know that, and I thought the Italian version was like Prosecco.
Yeah.
Is this Prosecco?
No. Because Prosecco has a different method of making. Plus, Prosecco is actually a grape. So it comes from the Prosecco area. Then there's Franciacorta. Franciacorta is also from a different area, but Franciacorta means the way of making French champagne.
And this is like a champagne?
It's basically, it is champagne, but we're not allowed to call it because we're not in the Champagne region. They have the monopole over it.
I see.
In Austria, it's called Sekt. in America.
Sect?
Sect.
Oh. Okay, so the people from all over the world, they order
Online.
wine, either online or over the telephone.
Exactly, yeah.
And the packaging takes place in here and the shipping
Yes.
takes place.
Yes. And then it goes through, it gets a label on it, gets a top on it, gets the stamp of the Chianti Classico on there, and then they come out in the front.
Thank you, Gudrun, for this opportunity. We're here drinking the first wine produced by Libernano from 1997. It's a wine about 24 years old. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Everything was just magnificent. This is truly the most beautiful vineyard I've ever been to in my entire life. But I do have a request, Gudrun.
Okay.
Every time I think of wine and I look at the god of wine is Bacchus. Bacchus is always depicted in the nude. And in the spirit of wine, to keep consistent with the tradition, would it be okay with you if I ran through your vineyards naked?
Okay, let me put it this way. This is an open space. It's private. You obviously can do whatever you want to. But also I have a request. If you want to run nude in the vineyards, then I would like to have this special day as today, the 23rd of June, to be the Free Spirit Day. So whoever is out there who want to participate after what you see, you know, running them naked, nude in the vineyards, enjoy yourself and continue that, because it would be fun if you guys, you people would be out there, but you know, in content, in the sense that it has to be proper, tasteful, but come up with your own ideas. I think it would be quite neat.
That's a fantastic idea. I've
yes.
never done this before. You heard it, guys. On June 23rd, come out to Libernano. You have the freedom to run through the vineyards in the nude, just like Bacchus.
Cheers! Salute tutti!